And just like that, it's done. The World Cup is finally over. I just got done watching the final and it was complete insanity. By the 70th minute, I was completely shocked. It had been an awful match. Just horrible. I was literally telling my father that if I was French, I would probably just be ashamed at that point. France had been so incredibly poor that at that point it seemed this World Cup final would have been one of the worst ever. I mean, by halftime, they had not attempted a single shot. I'm not even talking about shots on target. I'm talking about attempting a shot. Just attempting. Nothing. They didn't have a single touch inside Argentina's box. It was just something else. And as I was saying, at around that 70-minute mark, as I was just about to lose hope, the match blew us all away and suddenly turned into what is quite simply one of the greatest World Cup finals of all time. Honestly, probably just one of the best football matches ever. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. What happened before that? Well, Argentina were winning 2-0. Angel Di Maria was probably the star of the match at that point. First he won the penalty which Messi converted and then he scored the second goal. It's been unbelievable for Argentina for years at this point. I mean, he literally scored the winning goal at the Copa America and now he performed like this. Just what a player, incredibly underrated, easily one of the greatest players of the decade. Speaking of Messi scoring that penalty, that specific goal, it actually made him the first player in World Cup history to score in every single round of a World Cup. He scored in the group stage, he scored in the round of 16, quarterfinals, semi-finals, and now, of course, the final. Just incredible, obviously. But to be fair, it has to be said, he got 5 penalties in those 7 matches, which obviously helped a lot, especially considering that they all came before the opponents had even scored. So it's almost like Argentina got to go 1-0 up before the game even started every single time. But yeah, at that point, Di Maria and Messi had easily been the 2 best players on the pitch, which is especially remarkable because both of them are aged 34 or older. Only 2 players of that age had scored at a World Cup final in its history, and today both of them scored, which is mind-blowing. On the other side, well, as I said, France were awful, but especially Ousmane Dembélé. It was probably the worst World Cup final performance of all time. I mean, the guy took 0 shots, failed to find a teammate with every cross he took, failed every single dribble he attempted, lost every duel he was involved in, lost possession 7 times and committed a penalty. All of this in just 41 minutes. I don't think anyone was surprised to see that he got subbed off. And honestly, there's no better way to explain just how bad France were than to talk about those substitutions. 2 out of their 3 forwards, Giroud and Dembélé, meaning everyone except Mbappe, were literally subbed off in the first half. That's how you know things aren't going very well for a team. But yeah, going back to the beginning, it was exactly at that point that the game blew my mind. Sure, I had told you that I expected it to be a great match, especially following that one in 2018, which was a blockbuster. But the fact that after all of this somehow turned out to be one of the greatest matches of all time, I don't know, man, it will just never not be amazing to me. So now trying to make sense of all of it, I would say it all started when Camavinga came on. It's become kind of a trend at Real Madrid for Camavinga to come in as a late sub and completely change the match, and it seems this time around it happened for France. Once he stepped on the pitch, he completely dominated at midfield, he nullified Messi over and over again, and completely unlocked Mbappe. I mean, it's unbelievable just how much better Mbappe started playing the moment he came on. By halftime, he had touched the ball just 11 times, literally the fewest touches out of any outfield player that had started the game. But then suddenly, he scored 2 goals in 97 seconds. First, a penalty, and then an incredible acrobatic volley, truly one of the most beautiful goals of the tournament. But well, that wasn't enough. On the counter-attack, Argentina creates sort of a mess in France's box. Lloris tries his best to save it, Koundé tries to clear it from the goal line, but regardless, Messi ends up getting the goal on the rebound. It was the first time in history that a World Cup final saw 2 players score 2 goals each. But again, that wasn't enough. Another penalty for France, and despite going up against Emi Martinez, who's a penalty specialist, Mbappe scores again. bringing the game to a tie once more, and taking the World Cup's overall goal tally to 172, the most in the history of the tournament. Only 1998 and 2014 got close with 171, not enough compared to this one. And yeah, at that point, the last few minutes were just completely wild. Shots coming one after the other, and overall, the thing that stood out to me is Lautaro Martinez is not a very good player at all. At least when it comes to getting the ball in the net in tough moments. I mean, you dare to complain about Higuain in 2014? This guy is a whole new level. I'd already mentioned it in previous matches, but this one, something else. At least Muani had the decency of missing this one as well, you know, just so Lautaro wouldn't feel too bad. And yeah, just like that, this became the third World Cup final in history to go to penalties. And honestly, at that point, knowing the goalkeepers each team had, I pretty much knew the game was going to Argentina. Emi Martinez is a penalty specialist. He's just incredible at saving penalties. It's his thing. I just checked and he literally saved 30% of the penalties he had to face throughout his entire career. While on the other hand, Lloris, I want to say he's awful, but he's definitely not too good at them, you know what I mean? He's saved just 15%, literally half of what Emi Martinez has managed. And all of that added to the fact that Argentina have won more penalty shootouts than any other team in the competition's history, as well as the fact that the team who scored first has gone on to lift the trophy 9 out of the last 10 World Cup finals. Well, it was enough to predict what was going to happen. After all, history does tend to repeat itself. And yeah, Mbappe scored the first penalty, which is beyond impressive. To score 3 penalties in the same match against Emi Martinez, you gotta have nerves of steel. I was actually thinking about it, like scoring 3 penalties in the same match, and the only other time I can think of it happening was Ronaldo Fenomeno back in 2004, which incidentally also happened against Argentina, so I thought that was kinda cool. But yeah, after Mbappe's penalty, everything went horrible for France. I really don't get how it's possible for them to arrive at the World Cup final and be so poorly prepared for a penalty shootout. I mean, Lloris, the last time he saved the penalty was 2021. And well, he saved just 1 penalty that year. And except for Mbappe, all 3 of their penalty takers, Tchouaméni, Muani, and Coman, had never scored a single penalty in their careers. Just a while ago, we were mocking Brazil for getting Marquinhos to take the penalty when he had only taken like 2 in his life. And now we get this in the final. It's so much worse. With the misses by Tchouaméni and Coman, and Argentina not missing a single penalty, soon enough, they were world champions. It's their 3rd ever time winning it, and it had been 36 years since the last time they won it. Only Italy had ever had a larger gap in between titles than Argentina today. But yeah, with everything wrapped up, the one thing I could think about was, how is Kylian Mbappe feeling? I mean, he's a 23-year-old who's already won a World Cup, was now en route to win his 2nd, he's scored 12 goals in 14 World Cup matches over his career, is already the World Cup's 6th highest goal scorer of all time, he's literally just 4 goals away from breaking that record. He had just scored the first hat-trick in a World Cup final since 1966, totaling 8 goals in the tournament, the most in 53 years. I mean, just think about it, no player had managed to score 3 goals in World Cup finals, plural, throughout their entire careers, and Mbappe scored 3 just today, taking him up to 4, which made him the all-time top scorer at World Cup finals at just 23 years of age. I mean, it had been 20 years since someone had even managed to score a brace in a World Cup final, and somehow he still lost. And not only did he lose, he didn't even get the Player of the Match award. They gave it to Messi. It's just unbelievable. That guy's gonna need a therapist after this, for sure. He really deserved more. Come on, it's just sad to witness. Regardless, it wasn't even just the Player of the Match award that he missed out on. He also missed out on the Golden Ball, which was also given to Messi. Which is even more impressive than it might seem at first, since he also won the Golden Ball in 2014, which made him the first ever player to win 2 Golden Balls in 2 separate World Cups. Also, let's not forget the tournament's best young player, Enzo Fernandez. I mean, the kid is just 21 years old and I've been praising him all tournament. Just incredible. Today, obviously, he put up another incredible performance. He led the match in touches, successful passes, and even tackles. I mean, he got 10 tackles at 21 years old in a World Cup final. The last time someone managed to get more than that was Gennaro Gattuso in 2006, and well, we all know Gattuso. It's not easy to beat at that kind of thing. And yeah, for me personally, the award for best young player had to go either to him or Julian Alvarez, who, by the way, you gotta see this. It's just really awesome. Here he is as a kid holding a prop World Cup trophy, and here he is now holding the actual trophy. Just congratulations, I bet it feels amazing. And yeah, finally, we cannot forget this. Lionel Scaloni, incredible job. Only the third ever manager to manage to win both the Copa America and the World Cup. And yeah, I guess that's it. I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say about this match, and thanks so much for watching. This was a crazy ride, and I'll see you soon.